Hello, my name is Trisha Irons, and it is my honor to open the celebration for the 12th day of Ridván. This program is presented by the Northern Virginia Bahai Center, and on their behalf, thank you all for joining us today. I would be remiss not to mention the unprecedented circumstances that we all find ourselves experiencing in various ways. But we are so grateful that technology allows us to come together and enjoy each other's spirits. We bring you a wonderful program, one full of arts, beautiful prayers, music, and with participants from our local communities, as well as all over the country. As we begin our program, I would like to say a few words about the significance of this holy day and why we celebrate this season. Ridván, which actually means paradise, is the name given by Baha'u'llah for the Najibiyyih Garden, which was located on the outskirts of Baghdad, not far from the house of Baha'u'llah. This garden was full of roses, and roses were the favorite flower of Baha'u'llah. In April 1863, Baha'u'llah spent 12 days in this garden with his family and his closest companions before being exiled from Baghdad to Constantinople. These 12 days were particularly significant because it was during this time that Baha'u'llah proclaimed his mission, which was to set the world on a path towards the unity of all mankind. Baha'u'llah has referred to these 12 days as the days, quote, whereon the breezes of forgiveness were wafted over the entire creation. A day on which the splendors of the divine names and attributes were shed upon the whole creation, and all things were purified. Baha'u'llah acclaimed Ridván as the most great festival, the king of festivals, the festival of God. As a result of this proclamation, the Najibiyyih Garden became known as the Garden of Ridvan. So please, I hope you enjoy our program this evening. Thank you so much for joining us, and happy Ridván.
هو الله إلهي إلهي هذا طير كليل الجناح بطيء الطيران أيده بشديد القوى حتى يطير إلى أوج الفلاح والنجاح ويرفرف بكل سرور وانشراح في هذا الفضاء ويرتفع هديره في كل الأرجاء باسمك الأعلى وتتلذذ الآذان من هذا النداء وتقر الأعين بمشاهدة آيات الهدى ربي إني فريد وحيد حقير ليس لي ظهير إلا أنت ولا نصير إلا أنت ولا مجير إلا أنت وفقني على خدمتك وأيدني بجنود ملائكتك وانصرني في أعلاء كلمتك وانطقني بحكمتك بين بريتك إنك أنت معين الضعفاء ونصير الصغراء وإنك أنت المقتدر العزيز المختار.
Alapa, dear friends, I just want to wish a very happy 12th day of Ridván to the Northern Virginia Baha'i community. Protect me
Kalapa, dear friends. Today, as we commemorate the 12th day of Ridván, under devastating circumstances, we gather together online in the midst of a pandemic and supplicate the Almighty. Let us remember that after the storm comes the sun. This too shall pass. Things were bleak in Baghdad in the decades before the coming of Baha'u'llah in 1853. In the story of what befell the people of Baghdad, we may hear echoes of the trials that we are suffering today. Major Robert Taylor, East India Company resident in Baghdad, witnessed the terrible epidemic of plague break out in the spring of 1831. At the same time, the Tigris River burst its banks as a result of prolonged rains. The situation in Baghdad was desperate. Major Taylor entreated the Pasha to establish a quarantine, plans for which had been drawn up by the residency surgeon. But the Pasha merely replied that such ideas were against the spirit as well as the letter of true religion. Major Taylor left the city soon after. Anthony Groves, a British missionary who remained in Baghdad from April to October 1831, recorded that part of the residency fell into the swollen river, and of the 18 servants and sepoys left to guard the building, all but 2 died of the plague. The city was in ruins as buildings crumbled in the floods. The plague was everywhere, and Groves lost his wife and young daughter to the disease. He wrote, "As to the numbers of those who have died of the plague on this side of the river alone, in little more than 1 fortnight, all agree in making it about 7,000. The poor inhabitants know not what to do. If they remain in the city, they die of the plague. If they leave it, they fall into the hands of the Arabs, who strip them of everything. Or they are exposed to the effects of the inundation of the Tigris, which has now overflown the whole country around Baghdad." As time passed, the river subsided, and the plague all but vanished. Commerce returned, and the city began to flourish again. Hope returned, for this was the city to which Baha'u'llah would be sent, and where he lived for 10 years, staying for a brief time before his departure in lush gardens outside the city walls. In Baghdad, in the heart of what we learned in our history classes as the Fertile Crescent, once called Mesopotamia and now called Iraq. Let us take ourselves back to that time. Based on what we know from the records that we have, let us try to imagine what it was like during those momentous days. The year was 1863. The month was April. During those days, great numbers of people came to pay their respects to Baha'u'llah. Notables and dignitaries of the city of Baghdad, as well as his family members and admirers. Of the 12 days that Baha'u'llah stayed in the Garden of Ridvan, 3 are regarded as holy days. The first day, on which he arrived, the 9th day, on which he declared himself a manifestation of God, and the 12th day, when he left the garden, having been exiled by the government to move farther away from his native land of Persia. This is a map of Baghdad produced by British officers of the Indian Navy, 1853 to 1854. It is the most accurate map that we have from that time period, but still not exact. Actually, this map was made in secret, with one of the British officers walking every street in town, and at every corner he would write how many paces he had taken on his shirt cuff since the previous street. The news of Baha'u'llah's forthcoming exile from Baghdad to Constantinople spread rapidly, and his house was too small to accommodate the large numbers who came to see him. We know that Baha'u'llah lives somewhere on this side of the river, which in ancient days was the old city. Baha'u'llah might have been ferried directly to the gardens, but would just as likely have crossed around here, which is where most of the traffic was, probably due to the conditions of the river and the locations of the main ports. The Najibiyyih Gardens were located here, just outside of the city walls, and in view of the North Gate. On April 21, 1863, Baha'u'llah was ferried across the river accompanied by 3 of his sons and his scribe. We do not know what type of boat he took across. This picture shows the most common types of boats used on the Tigris River in those days. And no, the round boats are not stylized drawings. They really did look like that, and they were designed to carry up to 24 travelers. Here is a close-up of the Ridván Garden from the original British Navy map. The garden was described as a wooden garden having 4 flower-bordered avenues, lined with roses, which were collected by gardeners during Baha'u'llah's stay, and piled in the center of his tent to be offered to visitors. So great would be the heap, the chronicler Nabil Azam relates, that when his companions gathered to drink their morning tea in his presence, they would be unable to see each other across it. Nightingales were said to sing loudly in the garden, which, together with the fragrance of the roses, created an atmosphere of beauty and enchantment. By the side of the river, upstream from Najib Pasha's palace, maybe here, was an open space in the garden where one of Baha'u'llah's companions raised a tent for him, around which a small village of tents was later raised for the rest of the family. At noon on the 12th day of Ridván, when it was time to leave the garden, his admirers brought over a horse of the finest breed, the best they could afford. As Baha'u'llah's foot reached the stirrup, the red stallion bent its knees and lowered itself down. The proud horse knelt before Baha'u'llah, and this caused the people to lament even louder. Baha'u'llah showered everyone with sweet words of consolation, and he waved farewell to all as he prepared to leave with his family and the escort of soldiers of the Ottoman Empire. Among the bowing and fervent multitude of admirers, the affection and grief were visible all around. People threw themselves to the ground in front of the horse in an effort to slow his departure. Baha'u'llah rode forth from the garden with such majesty as none could fail to acknowledge. He set out toward Constantinople, clothed in majesty. One of Baha'u'llah's followers, named Mirza Asadullah Kashani, could not help himself and ran after the group, and he has left this account of his experience. Although Baha'u'llah had commanded the friends not to follow them, I was so loath to let him go out of my sight that I ran after them for 3 hours. He saw me, and getting down from his horse, waited for me, telling me with his beautiful voice, full of love and kindness, to go back to Baghdad, and with the friends, to set about our work, not slothfully, but with energy. Be not overcome with sorrow. I am leaving friends I love in Baghdad. I will surely send to them tidings of our welfare. Be steadfast in your service to God, and doeth whatsoever he willeth. Live in such peace as will be permitted to you. We watched them disappear into the darkness with sinking hearts, for their enemies were powerful and cruel, and we knew not where they were being taken. An unknown destination. Weeping bitterly, we turned our faces toward Baghdad, determined to live according to his command. Allah.
Allah, dear friends, hope everyone is doing good. I am Sagar Shoai, wanted to wish you all happy Ridván. I prepare for you a Persian folkloric dance. The music is from south part of the Iran, Khuzestan. Hope you enjoy it. I wish you all the best. Happy Ridván. دوستان عزیز، الله اپا، امیدوارم شاد و تندرست باشید. من ساغر شاعی هستم. میخواستم عید اعظم رضوان رو به همه تبریک بگم. براتون یک رقص فولکلوریک ایرانی آماده کردم که قسمت میوزیکش از قسمت خوزستان ایران هستش. امیدوارم که دوست داشته باشید. بهترین ها رو براتون آرزو میکنم. رضوانتون مبارک.
بلند بالا و بلند گردن برکشیده وقت بلند بالا و بلند بیچ آفریده
Allah, everybody. Happy Ridván to all of you. I hope you are all doing good, and we miss you. We can see you soon. Enseñar es aprender, aprender es trabajar. Trabajar es servir y servir es amar. Amar es morir, morir es vivir. Vivir es esforzarse, esforzarse es levantar. levantarse por encima de todas las limitaciones que hay en la tierra y entonces entrar al reino eterno. Eso dice Abdul Bahá, el siervo de la gloria, el ejemplo más perfecto de la vida Bahai. Turururururu. Enseñar es aprender. Turururu, tururú. Aprender es trabajar. Turururururu. Trabajar es servir. Turururururu. Y servir es amar. Amar es morir. Morir es vivir. Vivir es esforzarse. Esforzarse es levantarse por encima de todas las limitaciones que hay en la tierra y entonces entrar al reino eterno. Eso dice Abdul Bahá, el siervo de la gloria, el ejemplo más perfecto de la vida Bahai, el ejemplo más perfecto de la vida Bahai, de la vida Bahai, de la vida Bahai. Thank you.
He, whose the best beloved is come, he hath crowned himself with the glory of God's revelation, and hath unlocked to the face of men the door of his ancient paradise. Let all eyes rejoice, and let every ear be gladdened, for now is the time to gaze on his beauty. Now is the fit time to hearken to his voice. Proclaim unto every longing lover, behold, your well-beloved hath come among men. And to the messengers of the monarch of love, impart the tidings, lo, the adored one hath appeared, arrayed in the fullness of his glory. O lovers of his beauty, turn the anguish of your separation from him into the joy of an everlasting union. And let the sweetness of his presence dissolve the bitterness from your remoteness of his court. Behold how the manifold grace of God, which is being showered from the clouds of divine glory, hath in this day encompassed the world, for whereas in days past every lover besought and searched after his beloved, it is the beloved himself who now is calling his lovers and is inviting them to attain his presence. Take heed lest ye forfeit so precious a favor. Beware lest be little so remarkable a token of his grace. Abandon not the incorruptible benefits, and be not content with that which perisheth. Lift up the veil that obscureth your vision, and dispel the darkness with which it is enveloped, that ye may gaze on the naked beauty of the beloved's face, may behold that which no eye hath held, and hear that which no ear hath heard.
Hear me, ye mortal birds. In the rose garden of changeless splendor, a flower hath begun to bloom, compared to which every other flower is but a thorn, and before the brightness of whose glory the very essence of beauty must pale and wither. Arise, therefore, and with the whole enthusiasm of your hearts, with the eagerness of your souls, the full fervor of your will,
and the concentrated efforts of your entire being, strive to attain the paradise of his presence, and endeavor to inhale the fragrance of the incorruptible flower, to breathe the sweet savors of holiness, and to obtain a portion of this perfume of celestial glory. Whoso followeth this counsel will break his chains asunder, will taste the abandonment of enraptured love, will attain unto his heart's desire, and will surrender his soul to the hands of his beloved. Bursting through his cage, he will, even as the bird of the spirit, wing his flight to his holy and everlasting nest.
Aloha everyone, happy Ridván. I hope you enjoy the music I'll be playing for you today.
O Son of Man, thou dost wish for gold, and I desire thy freedom from it. Thou thinkest thyself rich in its possession, and I recognize thy wealth in thy sanctity therefrom. By my life, this is my knowledge, and that is thy fancy. How can my way accord with thine? How can my way accord with thine? Busy not thyself with this world, for with fire we test the gold, and with gold we test our servants.